Hey guys, today we got another full dress TJ Fischer knife for you guys that George sent in with a couple of the other TJ Fischers that I've already shown. And we'll bring those back out at the end too. So this is the last of the three that he had sent me. And this is the Kamehameha. We'll dive right into the specs. It's a little smaller than the Cobra, which is the last one I did. Which in talking to TJ earlier today, there's still a couple of these left for pre-order. So if you're interested in the Cobra that I did talk about, and there'll be a link down below to my TJ Fischer playlist, so you can check that out. There's a couple left on this one that you could pre-order if you want to get in on the Cobra. So, but the Kamehameha is a little bit smaller. So the close length is 4 1/4. The overall length is just 7 1/2. 3 1/4 inch blade and a 3 1/4 inch edge length. The blade steel, and we'll do some close-ups here in just a second, is a Chad Nichols Boomerang Sanmai Damascus. It is beautiful. It's 0.20 thick. The whole thing weighs in at 8.2 ounces. And overall thickness is actually rather thick at 0.73 minus a clip. And it does run on bearings. One of the things, and I talked about this on the launch, that TJ does is he uses the same blade material in the spine / backspacer. So I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit as we walk around this thing, because I think using the same blade steel, so you can see the Sanmai pattern here across the top, if it'll focus, and that carries all the way through to the backspacer, and then down around the backspacer, and then down inside, which you can't really see very well. And he uses that same Sanmai on the clip. So you can see down there on the closest part to the knife where it's, got that Sanmai pattern a little bit. It's kind of, it's hard to tell. It's subtle, but really, it's just amazing. And then this black Damascus for the scales. And then it's a meteorite pivot inlay and pivot collar on both sides. And then a liner lock on the inside, where again he does that jeweling on the outside of the liner as well as on the inside. See if we can shine some light on there, and you can see, there you go, you can really see the jeweling on the inside of the liner in an area that you really have to be looking at to see. But that's the attention to detail that you get from a custom maker that's doing these one by one by hand and to the customer's kind of request or specifications. You're paying for that. These aren't cheap production, prices, but the quality and the finish, you can't put a price on that. And what I didn't ask, and I'll have to get with him and find out how many hours they have into these. I don't know, but it's a lot of time and effort to get just the action right, the lockup. It's really smooth. This is the snappiest flipping of the three that I have in here today. Just amazing, amazing action. And TJ is such a great guy. He reached out to me today because he's building me one of the Cobras for myself. After I did the review, or as I was talking to him to get the information for the review, we talked about it, and I ended up buying one that he's working on now, and says the action's phenomenal, sent me some progress pictures. So he's just, really that down-to-earth great guy. So I really appreciate that as well. So let's do a couple size comparisons here so that you can see how this is a little bit smaller than the Cobra. And we'll just put the Cobra up here first. So it's quite a bit smaller than the Cobra. And this is much more my size, the Cobra. The Kamehameha and the Launch are smaller than what I normally would carry. The launch is a little bit more my size, but still a little bit on the small side for me. Just because I have kind of larger hands. So the Cobra fits better in my hand. The launch, fits well also. But the Kamehameha is just, it fits, but it's a little bit, I feel a little cramped, for lack of better words in that. Beautiful knife, absolutely love it. At some point, I'm sure that TJ and I will work on some full dress one for myself, just because the fit and finish is phenomenal on all of these. And when you do a full custom, full dress, you can pick pretty much whatever materials that you want. That's the beauty, is you get to really build it the way you want. Here's next to the Sharpie. And how about a couple of normal sized knives that you may be more familiar with. The large Sebenza 21 from Chris Reeve. And how about a Spider Codelica, since I've got one of those now from my buddy Zach over at Knife Joy, which is a very similar size handle to the Kamehameha. And this one this one works a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah, about the same size. The other thing I saw that I really only noticed today when I was looking this over is, that's the beauty of the full dress also, is you find new details every time you look at it. There's no hardware on the outside. It's a hidden hardware for the pivot, for the clip, and the only other hardware here is the pivot. So I don't know how it all comes apart. I'm not taking it apart. I'll send it back to TJ if there's a problem and have him fix it, or I'll send it back to the owner, and then the owner can, if there's issues, send it in to TJ. But there's no hardware. Is it held together by magic? I don't know. But those are the little things that you notice after you have it. Because when I first got these, I didn't notice that. I was still mesmerized by the Damascus blade and the black Damascus scales that I didn't even notice that there's no hardware. And then as I look at the launch, same thing, only the pivot. So again, magic. I don't know. Trade secrets. But that's the quality and details that you get from a full dress. Whereas on the Cobra, you've got some hardware here and the pivot. And the pivot always helps hold it together, but typically you've got the pivot and then 1 to 3 fasteners in the back holding it together. So on these other ones, I don't know. Maybe it's a Fischer family secret. So anyway, I wanted to show this off before I had to send this stuff back to my buddy George, although I think I'm going to hold on to it until I get my my Cobra so that I can compare my Cobra to the prototype. Because TJ told me he's doing a couple things different on this run of Cobras than he did on the prototypes. So we'll get these back to George soon, maybe, because they're really cool. So anyway, thanks for watching. I greatly appreciate it. In the description, there'll be a link to the TJ Fischer playlist, so you can check out the full details on the Cobra and the launch. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.